Hey guys, Adam here. In today's story, it's about a company that thought it had already won. Blockbuster was winning. Completely winning. In the late 90s, Blockbuster had thousands of stores, millions of customers, and one of the strongest brands in America. Netflix? Netflix was basically nobody. A tiny company mailing DVDs in red envelopes. So the story should have ended right there. Blockbuster wins, Netflix disappears. But here's the twist. Blockbuster didn't lose because it was too small or too slow. Blockbuster lost because it thought it had already won. To understand how insane this battle was, you have to understand what Blockbuster really meant back then. Blockbuster wasn't just a store, it was a weekend routine. Friday night, you drive to Blockbuster, pick a movie, grab snacks, and the whole family watches together. It was culture, and at its peak, Blockbuster had around 9,000 stores worldwide. That's not a business, that's an empire. And to Blockbuster's leadership, Netflix didn't look like competition. It looked like a cute little experiment. Blockbuster's real secret weapon wasn't movies, it was late fees. If you returned a DVD late, you paid extra, and millions of people returned movies late, not because they wanted to, but because life happens. You forget. You get busy. You say, I'll return it tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes 3 days. Blockbuster made a huge amount of money from late fees. Some people even joked that Blockbuster wasn't a movie company. It was a late fee company. But that business model had one weakness. It worked only as long as customers accepted the pain. Then Netflix shows up. And at first, it's not streaming. Netflix started by mailing DVDs to people. No store visits, no parking, no lines, just your movie showing up at your doorstep. And Netflix didn't charge late fees. That one detail wasn't just customer friendly. It was a psychological attack because people hated late fees. They didn't just dislike them, they felt punished by them. Netflix didn't need thousands of stores. Netflix just needed one idea. Make renting feel easy, not stressful. Even after Netflix appeared, Blockbuster still looked unstoppable. Because when you're that big, you don't feel danger, you feel comfort. Blockbuster had the locations, the brand, the cash, the customers. Netflix was still small. And if you asked an average person back then, who wins this battle? Most people would laugh. They'd say, come on, Blockbuster can crush them anytime. But the real problem wasn't competition. The real problem was change. Because business isn't about who's bigger. Business is about who adapts faster. Eventually, Blockbuster realized something. Netflix wasn't just selling movies. Netflix was selling convenience. So Blockbuster tried to respond. They launched online rental services. They tried subscriptions. They experimented with removing late fees. But by then, they were trapped. Because late fees were a huge part of their profit. Removing them was like removing oxygen. Blockbuster faced a brutal decision. Keep late fees and lose customers slowly, or remove late fees and lose revenue immediately. And they hesitated. Netflix didn't hesitate. Netflix was built for this. Now, here's the part people love, the moment that feels like a movie scene. There was a time when Netflix approached Blockbuster, a chance for Blockbuster to buy Netflix, and it didn't happen. Blockbuster didn't take Netflix seriously enough, and that's the danger of being the market leader. You start believing your own success. You start thinking you're too big to lose. But history doesn't care how big you were yesterday. History only cares who wins tomorrow. And Netflix kept building, quietly, smartly, patiently. Then something bigger happened. The world changed. Internet speeds improved. People got more comfortable online. Digital entertainment exploded. And suddenly, driving to a store to rent a DVD started to feel outdated. Netflix saw it coming. They didn't just want to rent DVDs forever. They wanted to own the future of entertainment. So Netflix started investing in streaming. And once streaming became real, Blockbuster's biggest strength, its stores, became its biggest weakness. Because stores are expensive. Rent, staff, inventory, operations, Netflix just needed servers. Blockbuster didn't give up instantly. They tried to pivot. They tried to modernize. But pivots are hard when your entire business model is built on physical locations. Imagine trying to turn a huge shopping mall into a smartphone app overnight. That's what Blockbuster was facing. And then, the 2008 financial crisis hit. Money got tight. Consumers changed their spending. And Blockbuster was carrying heavy costs. More stores meant more pressure. Netflix was lean, Blockbuster was massive, and mass becomes dangerous when the world moves fast. Eventually, the decline became impossible to hide. Stores started closing, customers moved on, and Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. And yes, it's sad. Because Blockbuster wasn't just a company, it was nostalgia. It was childhood. It was Friday nights. But business doesn't run on nostalgia. It runs on strategy. Netflix didn't win because it got lucky. Netflix won because it removed friction. No late fees, no store trips, no stress. And Netflix kept upgrading its model again and again until the world couldn't ignore it. So what's the real lesson here? It's not Netflix is smarter. It's not Blockbuster was dumb. It's something deeper. Blockbuster didn't lose because it had competition. Blockbuster lost because it protected the past. Instead of building the future, it focused on keeping its old system alive, even when customers were clearly asking for something better. Netflix kept asking one question: how do we make this easier for people? And that single mindset is what separates winners from giants that fall. So yeah, for a moment, it really looked like Blockbuster had already won. But Netflix was playing a different game. A game built on convenience, technology, and customer obsession. And in the end, the small company became the giant. If you enjoyed this story, you're going to love what's coming next, because this channel is all about the real strategies behind the biggest brands and the biggest failures. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment which company story you want next. I'll see you in the next one.